Okay, let's begin. Start with Ahil. What we learned yesterday.
So the soul has two parts. One part is Dravya and one part is Pariyaay. If you close Pariyaay, you're only looking through the Dravya angle, and if you're looking through the Dravya angle, you can experience your soul.
Good. And why did Kunkun Acharya say Sarvatha Pariyaay Drashti Bandh? Why did he say that? That why do you have to close your Pariyaay totally?
He said you have to close your Pariyaay completely, because if you're looking partially at the Pariyaay and partially at the Dravya, you can't fully experience your soul because you're not fully focused on one. And if you're just looking at Dravya, then you can completely experience your soul because you're looking inside your soul.
And what is in Dravya?
Your soul.
Infinite attributes, infinite good qualities. Okay, fine. Sunny, speak. Or are you frozen? I think you're frozen. Preet, can you listen to me or are you frozen?
Neet is joining with another device.
Okay, no problem. Start. Preet, what did you learn yesterday? Quickly, and then we do the story.
Okay, so you can, when you're seeing from the Dravya angle, you're looking inside your soul. And when you're looking from the Pariyaay angle, you're looking outside the soul. The body has two parts, Dravya and Pariyaay.
No, the soul. The soul has two parts.
Soul has two parts, Pariyaay and Dravya. In Pariyaay, there are 5 changes. Heaven, hell, human, animal, and the Pariyaay of Sid Bhagan.
Yeah, good. Very good. Okay, shall we learn one new concept today, Ahil and Preet? Okay, now forget about Dravya. Now only come in Pariyaay. Okay, now we are inside Pariyaay. Now what is happening in Pariyaay? Pariyaay has got two faces. One face is facing outward. Preet, look at my actions. One face is facing inward. One face is looking outside. Outside meaning it is looking at the body, it is looking at the thoughts, it is looking at anything and everything. Preet, look over here. Sanay, can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're breaking a bit.
I think it's your internet. Ahil, can you hear me? Okay, see, Ahil, Preet, are you able to hear me? Okay, so now, Sanay, forget about the Dravya. Now you just come inside Pariyaay. Now you just forget about Dravya. Dravya is made out of infinite attributes. You forget about that for now. Now you just come inside Pariyaay, and in Pariyaay there are two faces. One face is facing outwards, one face is facing inwards. The face which is facing outwards, 1 minute, Neet is here. The face which is facing outwards is looking at the body, it is looking at thoughts, it is looking at likes, dislikes, it is looking at what, like, you know, all the objects, etc., 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 like hundreds and thousands and millions of things is outside. Now, the face which is inward, now look at my action, Sunny. Now, the face which is inward, Preet, because you will be speaking on this, so Preet, you should be very attentive, okay? Actually, all of you should be attentive. Now, the face which is facing inward is looking at Dravya now. This is now looking at Dravya. What is it looking at? It is looking at the infinite qualities of the soul. So, inside the Pariyaay, now in which particular Pariyaay, Sanay? In which particular Pariyaay? It is of Gnaan Pariyaay. Gnaan Pariyaay is of the knowledge Pariyaay. What is one of the gun of the soul, Sanay? One of the gun of the soul is knowledge. Ahil, how many attributes, how many gun are there in the soul?
Infinite.
So out of the infinite, which is, there is one, which I just said. What is that name?
Gnaan.
Yeah, Gnaan, good boy. So what does Gnaan mean? Krit, what does Gnaan mean? Neith, turn on your video so I can add you. Krit, what does Gnaan mean?
Gyan means knowledge.
So how many attributes are there in the soul, Krit?
Infinite.
Infinite. So out of the infinite, there is one particular one, which is called what? I just gave you, and you also gave the answer. What is that particular?
Gyan,
Gyan.
which is knowledge.
Now, like Gyan has two faces at the same time. Hi, Neet. Gyan has two faces at the same time. One face is facing outwards, Krit. One face is looking inwards. Okay, Neet, now try to listen to this. So in the Gyan Pariyaay Krit, one face is facing outward. One face is facing inwards. So the face which is facing outwards, Ahil, is looking at the body, it is looking at the thoughts, it is looking at the likes, dislikes, it is looking at all the objects of this universe, all the objects, all the objects. The face which is looking inside is looking at the infinite attributes of the soul. Now, who can repeat this very nicely, very, very perfectly, what I've explained right now? Raise your hand. Sunny.
The two parts in Pariyaay, one is facing outward and one is facing inward. The one that is outward is like a body, but then the one in inside is like Dravya. You say I'm a soul.
Okay,
And
good attempt. Good attempt. That was like a good try. Now, who can improve on what Sunny has said? Who can improve on it? Preet, try.
There are two parts in the soul, Dravya and Pariyaay. There are 5 changes in Pariyaay, which are human, hell, animal, human, hell, heaven, animal, and the changing of the Sid Bhagan. And in Pariyaay, there are two parts of the soul, which is
No,
looking out.
No. In Gnaan Pariyaay. So you see, Sunny missed out on this word. In Gyan Pariyaay.
Pariyaay, there are two parts of the soul. One is facing outwards and one is facing inside
not two
the soul.
parts of the soul, not two parts of the soul, two parts in that particular Pariyaay.
The Gyan Pariyaay, there are two parts in the Gyan Pariyaay. One is facing outside and saying like I'm a body and stuff, and one is facing inside, which is saying I'm a soul.
Yeah, okay, good. Good attempt. Neet, you want to try, or first we give to Ahil because you came a bit late? I think he's frozen. Okay, Ahil, speak.
Okay, so one of the Pariyaay is Gyan Pariyaay. The two sides of Gyan Pariyaay, one side is facing inwards and one side is facing outwards. The side that is facing outwards is saying I'm a soul, and I mean it's saying I have a body, but the one that's facing inwards is saying I'm a soul and I have infinite attributes. And
Very good. Anaya, you want to try? Speak, and then we start with the story.
there are two parts of soul, and the Pariyaay and Dravya.
Very good, Anaya. Anaya, you have understood that there are two parts of the soul. One is Pariyaay, one is Dravya. Okay, Anaya, in the Dravya, what does it consist of?
Infinite attributes.
Good girl. Okay, so that is enough. Okay, that is enough. Sunny, Preet, ask your question and then we start with the story.
In Pariyaay, is there also Mithya Pariyaay and Darshan Pariyaay?
What Pariyaay? Yeah, there's Darshan Pariyaay, but sorry, what did you say before that? Mithya Pariyaay. Did
No,
you
I
say
meant
that?
what do you say? Charitra Pariyaay.
Yeah. Good observation. Very good observation. So of course there's Darshan Pariyaay, then there is Charitra Pariyaay, then there's Virya Pariyaay. Virya means courage. So there's Virya Pariyaay, then there is Shanti Pariyaay, then there's Sukh Pariyaay. So how many Pariyays does one gun have? It's easy. The answer is easy.
Infinite.
Who said Krit? Okay, so yeah, the answer is infinite. How many Pariyays does Gnaan Gun have, Ahil?
2.
No, infinite.
Infinite.
Infinite, okay, Ahil? Now each Pariyay has got 2 faces. Now that is how you say. Say it again, Ahil.
Each Pariyaay has 2 faces.
Yeah, of Gnaan Pariyay. Of Gnaan Pariyay. So you have to be specific now. Now you have to be specific. So say say Gnaan Pariyay.
Gnaan Pariyaay.
Yeah, speak. I think you did. There's something wrong with your internet.
Each Pariyaay has 2 faces of Gnaan Pariyaay.
No. Ahil, let's say it again. Neet, listen. Gnaan Pariyay has got 2 faces. Say.
Gnaan Pariyaay has 2 faces.
Yeah, very good. So one face facing outward, one face facing inward. Let's repeat for Neet. Neet, can you hear me properly? I hope your internet is good. Okay, let's repeat for Neet. Neet, now we have forgotten about Dravya. Now we have just come inside Pariyay. Okay? And we are now only inside Gnaan Pariyay. Gnaan Pariyay means knowledge Pariyay. Now inside knowledge Pariyay, Neet, I hope you can hear me. Inside knowledge Pariyay, there are 2 faces. One face is facing outward. One face is facing inward. The face which is facing outward, Anaya, is saying, I am body, or like even it is not saying, it is knowing. I mean, it is not saying is not the correct word. It is knowing that there is a body, that there are thoughts, there are likes, there are dislikes. Then the face of the Gnaan Pariyay, which is looking inside, it is knowing that there are infinite attributes in the soul. I hope you could hear me, Neet. If you could repeat.
You are breaking when you are saying the inward part.
Okay, so the Gnaan Pariyay has got 2 parts. Okay, the part which is looking outwards is like knowing there is a body, there are thoughts, there is speech, there are the likes, dislikes, etc., etc., etc. So like hundreds and millions of things. It is knowing. The face which is facing inwards is knowing that there are infinite attributes, infinite good qualities. So this is all happening only in Gnaan Pariyay. Okay, so today we have been very specific, very particular. We've only picked Gnaan Pariyay today. Now repeat, Neet. You're on mute. Ball.
In Gnaan Pariyaay, there are 2 parts. One faces outwards, one faces inwards. The one that faces outwards says that you are a body. It's knowing that you are a body. Their thoughts, their likes and dislikes. The one that faces inwards says that knowing that there is infinite happiness, infinite knowledge. Yeah.
Excellent. You said it accurately, without any mistakes. So everybody clap for Neet. Okay, now let's begin with the story. Okay, let's begin with the story of Love and Kush. Sunny had asked for me to recite the story of Love and Kush. Ahil, what story do you want to listen to next week?
I'm not sure.
Okay, can we do Mahabharat next week? Okay, fine. So next week we'll do Mahabharat, okay? So today we do the story of Love and Kush. So long time ago, in a land called Ayodhya, there was a king called Dashrath. Ahil, listen, because this is an interesting story. Look over here. There was a king called Dashrath. He had 4 sons. The first one was called Ram. The second one was called Bharat. The third one was called Lakshman. And the fourth one was called Shatrughna. So King Dashrath had 4 sons, Ram, Bharat, Lakshman, and Shatrughna. Now, all these were very close brothers. All of them had a very good bond with each other. And they were like very good friends. And also they had a lot of respect for their elder brother called Ramchandra. So Ramchandra's another name is Padma. What is Ramchandra's another name? He is called Padma. Because why did I mention
Padma.
about this? Yeah, why did I mention about this, Ahil? Because we have a book in our library, in our Jain libraries, called Padma Puran, which is describing the story of Ramchandra, of Ram. So, Krit, what was the other name of Ram?
Udgan.
Not Pudgal. Padma.
Padma.
Padma, okay? Sanay, look over here. What was his other name? He was called Padma, okay? Anaya, what was his other name? Say it loudly, Anaya.
Padma.
Okay, fine, very good. So his other name was called Padma. Now Ramchandra ji had 8,000 wives. How many wives did he have? He had 8,000 wives, of which Sita was his main wife. You could say she was the Patrani. Patrani means she was the main wife. And Sita had 2 sons called Love and Kush. Now let's understand how Love and Kush were born.
Were they twins?
Yeah, they were twins. So
Were they
okay.
identical or not identical?
I think they were not identical, but I'm not 100% sure about that, whether they were identical or not identical. So what happened? Ram was going to become a king. Now, at that time, in that age, like the king used to have many wives, as I just said, that Ramchandraji had 8,000 wives. In the same way, his father had 4 wives, although on like television, they show 3 wives. But in our scriptures, it is saying that King Dashrath had 4 wives. Now, one of the queens, she was called Kaikai. Kaikai was extremely beautiful, and she was the favorite queen of King Dashrath. Yeah, Ahil?
How did you get the scriptures?
Yeah, good. Yeah. Very good question. So I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you a link on your WhatsApp, and then you can have a look at that link, and then even I will give you the specific of Padma Puran, and you can have and you can just have a look at it. So it is actually a good question. So you will understand that how it was written. Okay, fine. So okay, so yeah, where was I? Okay, so Kaikai was King Dashrath's favorite wife. You know, she was very beautiful, etc. She was, like very smart. Now, unfortunately, what happened? Sunny, look over here. You have requested for this story. Okay, so now unfortunately, what happened? She got jealous. I mean, she's not always like that. She's not always like, in that nature. But unfortunately, she got jealous that why is Ram becoming king, and why is not my son Bharat going to become king? So she got jealous. And what she told to King Dashrath was quite, what do you say? It was actually very sad in like one way when you look at it. She told that Ram should not be king. Now, King Dashrath was happy with that fact. But then the second thing what she asked, that was the one which was not the nice part. She said that Ram has to go into forest for 14 years and Bharat will be king. So King Dashrath agreed for Bharat to be king, but he was very sad that why should like Ram have to go to forest? You know, he can just stay here and Bharat can continue to be king. Okay, and then what happens? Ram goes into forest. Now Sita, being the obedient wife, and Lakshman being the obedient brother, look at their like bond of love. They are like so like respectful for each other. So yeah, so Lakshman feels, how can my brother go alone in the forest? I will go and serve him in the forest. I will go help him in the forest, because the forest is not a safe place, as we learned yesterday. That said that Anjana was left alone in the forest. Now, unfortunately, in like Anjana's luck, nobody her family members did not come with her. But Ramchandraji, luckily, his brother Lakshman and his wife Sita went with him to the forest. Now Sita got kidnapped over there by Ravan. Now that doesn't mean that
Ravan is not a good person.
Yeah, I was just going to explain that. Now, sometimes, Sunny, aren't you mischievous in class?
Sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. See, you just said it. Sometimes you're mischievous. You're not mischievous all the time. So Ravan was mischievous and he kidnapped Sita. So that doesn't mean that he's mischievous all the time. So that is something that you need to understand. Kaikeyi did something bad, but that doesn't mean she's a bad lady all the time. Sunny, like your mom calls you sometimes, and sometimes even she praises you, right? So in the same way, Ravan did something very bad. He kidnapped Sita. Now, and he took Sita back to his palace. Now, Sita, being a very good lady, she was full of character. And so she did not want to like marry Ravan. And then there was a war between Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. Hanuman is what we learned about yesterday. There was a war between all of them against Ravan. Now, Ravan's wife, Mandodari is also telling to Ravan that, you know, you should give back Sita. This is not suiting you. This is not a good thing that you're doing. But Ravan was full of ego. He said, I will not give back Sita. And then Lakshman killed Ravan. Ram did not kill Ravan, as we see on television. In like Padma Puran, when we read, Lakshman killed Ravan. Then what happens? Ravan goes to hell. Ravan, at the moment, he's in hell at the moment. But Sanay, can you stay in hell forever and ever and ever and ever? You can't. Like how you can't be a human ahil forever and ever and ever. In the same way, Ravan will not stay in hell forever. In his next life, he's going to be a Tirthankar. Sunny, now are you understanding that he has done bad deeds? Like at times, even like your mom or your teacher in school will scold you. Sunny, you have not done this, you have not done this. But that doesn't mean that you are a bad boy always and always. Isn't that true? In the same way, Ravan is in hell right now because he did bad deeds. And then once he realizes his mistake, then he will become a Tirthankar in his next life, which he's going to become. He's going to be a Tirthankar in his next life. Now let's move on with the story.
He's going to become a Tirthankar also.
Who?
Hanuman.
No, Hanuman has gone to moksha. Remember we said, where has he gone to moksha from? Sunny? Mangi Tungi. Who? Where did Hanuman go to moksha from?
So is Ram going to be a Tirthankar?
Ram has already gone to moksha. He's already a Sith Bhagwan. So now he can't be a Tirthankar.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
I was asking the people who died in the fourth Gunastan, have they all, like, after they've died in the fourth Gunastan, do they all become Tirthankars?
No, good question. So when you die, when you're in the fourth Gunastan, meaning you've realized the soul, you go to heaven. You go to heaven. Okay? And then some become like men again, and I mean obviously they become men again, and out of which some become Tirthankar, some don't become Tirthankar, but they all can attain moksha.
So then like Can they do like after the fourth Gunastan they have died, then the next life they come again in life, and then they die and go to moksha?
So for moksha, you need to be in like a human body. You can't be in a heavenly body. For moksha, what Gunastan is like a Muniraj, Kreet?
6th,
After 6th, Arihant is in which Gunastan?
13th.
13th. So you need to go to 13th Gunastan to be Arihant, and then you become Siddh Bhagwan. Siddh Bhagwan is in which Gunastan?
No Gunastan.
No Gunastan. So now are you understanding? Are you understanding, or is it still difficult? So when you go to 4th Gunastan, you go from 4th, you go to 6th, then you become Arihant after that, okay? Okay, now let's come to the part of love and Kush. Fine. So now Ram, Lakshman, Sita, everyone, they come back to Ayodhya. Yeah, Ahil, you have a question. Just give me 1 minute. They all come back to Ayodhya. Now, once they're in Ayodhya, now people are talking bad because people like to gossip. Have you seen that? That people like to gossip. Now, it was Sita's bad luck. Everyone started to gossip about Sita. That how can this woman stay in Ravan's house? That is not ladylike. That is not a good thing. We don't want, somebody like in the queen's position to be like that. It is a wrong example to the kingdom. So everyone was talking very bad about Sita. Now the news obviously went to the king, who was Ram, her husband. Now you have to understand this as well. Ram is not only a husband, but is also a leader. So he first has to do the work of a leader, then he has to fulfill of the husband. So when you're in a king's position, you can't put your family first. You have to. What happened, Ahil?
Nothing.
Okay, so when you are in the king's position or when you're in a leadership position, you have to first lead your people. Then you have to look after your family's needs. Is that making sense, Ahil? So now what did Ramchandraji do? Now Sita was pregnant with Love and Kush. She saw a dream in the palace. She saw a dream that Ashtamangal, Ashta means 8 and Mangal means something auspicious. Ashtamangal is coming in her mouth. So that's the first dream she saw. The second dream she saw, Ahil, that she's falling off a chariot or maybe off an aeroplane, so like something like that. So she's describing both these dreams to Ramchandraji. So Ramchandraji is telling her that, wow, you saw an Ashtamangal. That means that you have twins in your stomach or in your womb. Okay. And then when Sita is describing that she fell off that aeroplane, now like what happens, Ramchandraji is saying, oh, something bad is going to happen to you, because you saw, like, I mean, the dream was indicating something bad is going to happen to her. Now Ramchandraji told her, why don't you go and like look at our Tirth Kshetras, meaning our holy places where you can go into darshan of Bhagwan, of like Jinendra Bhagwan. So Sita goes and she does, and she goes to all these holy pilgrimages, and she goes and she does like darshan of Jinendra Bhagwan. But this was a trick. So Sita was left, after they did the pilgrimage, she was left in the jungle. Now look at what Sita says. Now most of us will argue, we will cry, we will say, even if you leave me, I will come back to the palace. Isn't that true? I mean, that is how all of us will react, isn't it? That we will say that I have not done anything wrong. Like, it doesn't matter what people say. I will still come back to the palace. Now look at what Sita says. Sita is not arguing. She's saying it is because of my bad deeds that I have been put in the jungle today. Did she get angry at Ramchandraji? Any normal person, forget being a pregnant lady, any normal person will get very, very angry on the husband and say, how can you leave me like that? I didn't do anything wrong. But Sita said, look, it is my bad deeds. And so because of my bad karma, I am now in the jungle. And she told the chariot who dropped her in the jungle. Now, this is very important, Sunny, listen to this. Very, very important. Now she says a very important line. Ahil, Krit, Neet, and Anaya. You left me because people bad-mouthed me. But never, never leave Jain Darshan just because they bad-mouthed it. So this is very important. She was saying that even if people talk bad about Jain religion, don't leave it. Just because you left me, because all these people were talking bad about me, you left me in the jungle. But if people ever talk bad about Jain religion, never leave Jain religion. Look at the high caliber of lady she was. Now, this is what you call a lady. There's a difference between woman and lady. Lady is someone of high caliber, and woman is just like normal, just average. So now let's continue with the story. Now there's a twist in the story. Listen, Sunny. In what we see on television, that Sita lives in the jungle in like Valmiki's ashram. I mean, that is what we see in this TV serial. But according to Padma Puran, what happens now is that when she was left in the jungle, there was an aeroplane which passed by of one of her uncles. So the uncle saw her and he said, "Oh, that is Sita." Actually, it was not her uncle. Sorry, it was not her uncle. There was a king. Sorry. There was a king whose horse had gone away by himself. Now this king was searching for the horse. He found his horse, and even he found this pregnant Sita in the forest. Because he was a good king, he said that you look like you come from a royal family. So let me take you back to my palace. Now Sita gave birth to Love and Kush, the twins, in this palace, in this good king's palace. Now this good king got very angry on Ram, because after he heard the story, he got very angry on Ram. Let me go and attack him. But Sita said, "No, you will not attack my husband." And then life started to move on. Then Love and Kush also started to grow up. One day, Love and Kush asked that, "Who is my father? Who is my father? Who is my father?" But Sita did not say anything. Then this good king, he then explained that Ramchandraji is your father, and he left your mother Sita in the palace. So these two boys again got very angry. How can they do that to my mother? This is not correct. Da 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 da. And they wanted to fight with Ram, and that's exactly what they did. They waged a war against Ramchandraji. Ahil, I hope you can hear me. That they waged a war against Ramchandraji. Then everyone started to fight. Lakshman, Hanuman, everyone got involved in the war. Now, while they were fighting, Ramchandraji found out that, no, these are my sons, and he stopped the war. He stopped the war at that time. And then he went and hugged his two boys. After that, they called their mother, and they assumed now our bad days are finished. Now our mother will also come back with us to the palace, and we will live happily ever after. But now what happens is very important to understand, Sunny. Look, don't make faces, because you're listening to a story of a lady who is a very high caliber. So yeah, and also Ramchandraji is a very high like caliber. So like, don't make faces. It will now finish in 2 minutes. Next, what happens, Sunny? Look over here. Next, what happens that he calls Sita, and he gives, and then Ramchandraji again shows arrogance. He says that, "I don't still trust you. What if you have committed any ill thoughts? What if any other man is in your mind? What if you're not loyal to me in your mind?" Then Sita asks him, "You tell me anything, I will prove it to you that I am a very pure lady." Then there's a big fire, Anaya. There's a big fire. And then Ramchandraji tells her that, "I want you to walk through this fire to prove your purity." Do you think any one of us will do that? We'll just run away, won't we? Will we walk into fire? We'll be so scared to walk into fire. But look at her courage. So they make a very big hole, like as they're explaining in the Shastra, They make a very big hall, and in the hall they put a lot of sticks. They put a lot of sticks, and Sita jumps. Can you imagine? She jumps in the fire. She jumps in the fire, but because she was pure, that fire turned into water. The heavenly beings came down to earth, and they changed that fire into water. They changed it into water. Now Sita was very sad. She said that always only I have to give exams. Only I am always punished even when I am not wrong, because now Ramchandraji is telling her, now you come with me in the palace. But now Sita says, no, now I will not come with you in the palace, because now I am really, really hurt. Then she becomes a Arjika. Arjika means that now she becomes a nun. She takes Diksha. Diksha means now she becomes a nun. So she takes Diksha from a lady called Prithvi Arjika. Prithvi means earth. So the lady's name is Prithvi Arjika, and now Sita Devi becomes a nun. And now she leaves the palace, and now Love and Kush go back with their father in the palace. Now everyone is very sad, but of course they move on with their life. Even after the sad incident has happened, they move on with their life. And eventually Ramchandraji attains moksha from a place called Mangi Tungi. He becomes a monk. You can't just wear clothes and attain moksha. He removes all his clothes. Now he becomes a muni. So he goes to which Gunastan? Sunny?
6.
After you go to 6th Gunastan, what Gunastan when you become Arihant Ahil?
13.
13th Gunastan. Okay, very good. So then Ramchandraji, Hanuman, Sugriv, all of them attain moksha from Mangi Tungi. Then Sita leaves her like female body, and at the moment, right now, Sita is in heaven and she's a man. She has got the body of a man and she's a Dev. She's a heavenly being at the moment. And then in her next life, this is very interesting. When Ravan becomes Tirthankar, Sita will be his chief monk, which is called Ganadhar. So we will continue with the story because we have taken 10 minutes over today because Kreet and Neet were late today. But Sanay and Ahil came on time. So Kreet and Neet, please come on time, okay, from the next class. So this is the story. Listen to it again if you want to, and we meet on next Wednesday. Sanay, hold on, let me just